Hey everybody, welcome to the SoundCloud podcast, episode number 136, and as always, thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. If you are new, welcome, and check out some of the other episodes on the page. All episodes are available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music, so make sure you are subscribed so you can get notified for a new episode every Tuesday. I'm aware of what I'm saying. I know I missed last week. I apologize, guys, but here we are, back at it again. So, make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at The SkyLounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5UNG. Let's get started. The topic of the week this week, boys and girls, the Maculate classification of the universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe ranking. I spent the last 2.5 weeks rewatching the MCU in its entirety. I didn't watch it in release order, however, but in order provided by CNET in terms of narrative order, it makes a whole lot of sense leading up to the Endgame. So I ended up watching it like so. Endgame Phase 1, Endgame Phase 2, Endgame Phase 3, Endgame. You'll notice a whole lot of Endgame there, but that worked the way I watched this thing, it worked in a way where I got to appreciate every phase of the MCU even more and how it actually eventually leads up to Endgame. It creates the bigger picture. It's a small, tiny piece of the puzzle that creates the bigger picture, which was Endgame. And so, really, I wanted to revisit all the movies that has been spread out in the last 10 years. And what you basically find out is some were bad, some were good, and some were amazing. That's really how this shit goes when you spread these things out in 22 full-length movies, right? So with today's episode, I wanted to rank every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie thus far and give a 3-word summary for each movie. Not gonna lie, I think Colin Cowherd's fucking show might be rubbing off on me. God damn it. Just happens, right? Maybe great minds think alike. I'm not saying I'm a great mind. Maybe I am. A little bit of arrogance is coming out. I've had a long fucking day. I've been up all fucking day. So it just shows up Kanye mode once in a while. And you gotta let it out, right? You gotta let it out. But here's the thing with this list. I'll briefly explain each one as I go along. But I'll try not to go full fanboy or full tyrant mode in terms of monologuing. So brace yourself, hosts. Because I'm going to start from the bottom to top because it only seems logical. Because when you build from top to bottom, it's a fucking mess. You gotta build a foundation and work your way up from shit to fucking cotton candy. Work your way up, bitch. That's right. So let's start with the bottom, number 22. Thor, The Dark World. Thor wasting time. The worst the MCU has to offer, bar none. It was pretty fucking horrendous. Even during the rewatch, I just fucking sit there and say, oh my god, there is no fucking point to this movie except for the fact that it is just an introduction to the fucking Infinity Stones. I mean, you did that with the Tesseract and the Mind Stone, yes, but oh my fucking god, it just dragged on Thor: The Dark World. I do not want to rewatch it again. It hurts to rewatch that fucking movie. Alright, number 21. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Drag before Endgame. Seriously, another bummer on the MCU that does nothing but stall before Endgame. That's unfortunately the lot in its life. Number 20, I have Iron Man 3. PTSD Tony Stark. Yes, technically that is 3 words. I will still count it as 3 words. Pretty forgettable and kind of pointless in the grand scheme of Tony Stark's character arc. And again, there's a reason why it's near the bottom. It really is just fucking, it just drags. Number 19, Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, magic robot war. Well, yeah, let's team up, fight amongst ourselves, then fight the enemy. Bland at best. This really was bland at best, and they do a much better job of this conflict shit in Civil War, so just watch that instead. Or just skim Age of Ultron, that's all I'm saying. Number 18, Iron Man 2. Depressed, drunk Stark. Both of the Iron Man sequels really dragged on, and they were both pretty terrible. I mean, not awful, as in like the worst movies I've seen, but they're pretty fucking forgettable, is what I'm trying to say. Number 17, Thor. E.T. Phone Asgard. Not a bad introduction to the character, but nowhere near as fun as some of the other, characters' first movies, right? I mean, yes, Thor was one of the first Avengers, so we didn't know what we were going to have in the eventual future. But again, these are all hindsight 2020 kind of shit, right? But again, at number 17 is Thor. Number 16, Doctor Strange, visual acid trip. Not a very fun origin story, but the visual effects are insanely good. And I know it shouldn't be that low because of the fucking visuals, but there is really just, the story is just kind of meh at best. And the characters are also meh at best too. Except Caecilius. The fucking actor is phenomenal. I always forget his name, but he was in Casino Royale. Fantastic actor. Alright, number 15, The Incredible Hulk. Only Hulk movie. Sad, but in the grand scheme of things, you can kind of see why. You can only do so much with an angry, gamma-radiated monster. Plus, Edward Norton was nice in the sequel, not in the sequel, but in this movie. But in the subsequent movies where the Hulk featured, Edward Norton was out. Now we have Mark Ruffalo, who is great. I do not complain about Mark Ruffalo. He's fantastic. Alrighty, number 14, Captain Marvel. Marvel's Green Lantern. It's not as god-awful as the actual Green Lantern movie, which is, oh my god, a fucking piece of shit. And it only makes it worse that I complain about the Green Lantern, because as a comic book fan, the Green Lantern Rebirth series is one of the fucking best, and it really does spread out and deviate into these entire fucking series of great Green Lantern stories that built out from that. But again, I digress. This was Marvel's Green Lantern, but it wasn't that god-awful is all I'm trying to say. It was actually pretty good, but it isn't the best the series has to offer. And so it's not low, but it's not high. So I'll sit Captain Marvel at number 14. And number 13, we got Ant-Man. Ocean's 11 Ants. Fun heist-style movie, but feels a little flat at times. That's just the general feel I get from that. In the 12 rank. And speaking of 12, which is actually Ant-Man was number 13, but number 12, Captain America, the First Avenger. German-American steroids. I realize how much more I enjoy this movie after doing this rewatch marathon. A solid introduction to the character and bigger things for the universe to come. And yeah, Steve Rogers, Chris Evans. It's a solid match, guys. Now, number 11, I got Thor Ragnarok. Negligent father Odin. Seriously, Odin is a terrible father. Every Thor movie I watch, I'm just thinking, like, oh, you are a piece of shit, dude. How are you a father? You are a terrible father. Just negligent at best. And I had so much more fun with this Thor Ragnarok movie than I ever expected from any Thor movie. With its obvious track record between the regular Thor, the first one, and Thor the Dark World. I didn't know what the fuck to make with this movie initially, but watching it, thinking about it, then rewatching and rewatching again, it just gets better each and every time. And it's a fun portrayal of Thor and a great segue to where it'll eventually lead him into Infinity War and Endgame, which is another great transformation for his character arc. Spoilers! It's been fucking 2.5 weeks! Have you not watched fucking Endgame yet? Fuck! Alright, number 10, let's move on. Marvel's The Avengers. They finally assembled the first Avenger movie, and the first movie that blew our collective minds when all the Avengers were all on the screen for the first time. I mean, absolute insanity in the context of 2012. I mean, it's still such a solid fucking scene when you watch it now, but oh my god, it was some legendary shit back in those days, man. Now, number 9, Captain America Civil War. Gratuitous superhero buffet. It's just a cavalcade of the Earth's finest, right? Providing solid action with some collateral damage that'll affect the story tremendously moving forward. So, really good addition to the story, to the arc. Really, that is the Infinity Arc or whatever Kevin Feige and everybody at Marvel wants to call it. Now, number 8, we got Iron Man. This started everything. Genesis, Phase 1, Iron Man. This is the original. The one that started the push to the greatness that is the MCU. So back in 2008, during my senior year of high school, I would quote this movie with my buddies all the fucking time. Memorable and a whole boatload of fun. I mean, Robert Downey Jr.'s redemption started here. In the eyes of the media, this is where it started. An eventual rise to superstardom of where he's at now. He had that whole episode before that, the drugs, the whole fucking crazy downward spiral that he was going through, and then this was the salvation, and this was the genesis of the MCU, boys and girls. Now, at number 7, I got the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Good as first. I almost said but good as first. 3 words. The only reason why I had to push this down was because of Infinity War and Endgame. Seriously, I just couldn't justify doing that move in my own head, so this is where I put number 2 of the Guardians of the Galaxy at number 7. Haha, did a little switcheroo on the wording there, but Volume 2 does everything right from the first one and does its own little special things, and it's an awesome space adventure with parental issues. Yeah! That's what you want in a superhero movie. Superheroes with a lot of parent issues. There you go. Now, number 6, Avengers Endgame. Comic fan orgasm. But you watched it 4 times in theaters. Yeah, I know, you fuck, but the top 5 is a top 5 for a reason, and I'll get to it in a minute here. Not a literal minute, but this Endgame is a phenomenal movie. Yes, the Endgame is just goddamn delicious. It's one of the best. But it's so heavily predicated on you watching everything before it, it can kind of lose you at times if you're not heavily delved in, wired, zeroed out, focused, fucking cream pieing in the MCU. Unless you're that into it, you're going to have to rely on a lot of the movies beforehand. And that's my only kind of gripe about it. And despite that, as a comic book fan, it is just the best fucking thing you can possibly see. I mean, come on, man. When Cap says Avengers Assemble, don't you get the fucking goosebumps? Don't the little kid in you inside just says, oh my God, this is happening. He's assembling all the Avengers. This is going to be some fucking amazing adventures here. It's a great fucking movie. Now, the fucking big boys. Top 5. Yes, kids. Top 5. Here we go. Spider-Man! Homecoming. 3rd Peter Parker. You reintroduce a familiar character in a new universe, and he hits the ground swinging in the air, just like Spider-Man. Great hero and villain dynamic. Great supporting cast. An awesome soundtrack. And just so much fucking fun. To have Spidey back in high school. We got Peter Parker back in high school. And it's like we get to watch this young hero grow right in front of our eyes. Jesus Christ, I sound like an old man when I say that shit. So let's move on to number 4. Avengers Infinity War. He taken half. Arguably the best Avengers movie. This is the best Avengers movie. I know, and people are going to say Endgame, but for me, this is where they introduce the best villain in Thanos. Arguably one of the best cinematic villains we've ever had. The cinematic version to the comic version, whatever you want to fucking call it. But again, this is the best film villain I've seen in a long time. Brutal, powerful, but sympathetic and understandable. You can understand the logic in what he does. You don't have to agree with the logic, is what I'm saying. But you understand the logic behind it. And he gets the job done. When the villain gets the job done, that's when you know that's a good fucking villain. Right? And you also have a really solid villain when you're able to flesh out a great movie and great reactions from the other characters because of said, crazy bullshit that the fucking villain does. And this is the ultimate baddie. Thanos is a fantastic villain, and I don't think anyone can really trump him moving forward. It's going to be really hard. The bar has been set. He is the best villain. So let's move on to number 3 and see why Infinity War is behind these 3 guys. You're going to see it. Well, you're going to listen to it probably. So here we go. Number 3, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Sexy American espionage. back when this was released 5 years ago, I never thought another Captain America movie would be good. You know, because I thought they weren't going to top the Avengers. Oh boy, was I wrong. This is what great espionage action thrillers are made of. And you add the Marvel sauce on top of that, you have yourself a gem, my friend. That is a delicious recipe of a movie. Now, number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. Gorgeous space adventures. I remember back when the soundtrack album list came out, and I listened to this album nonstop for a few good weeks, and when I finally watched the movie in theater, I had no idea I would have that much fun, from a wacky space adventure that from the surface looked like it really wouldn't work. But holy shit, they mixed the best of everything in a blender and launched it into space, and everything is just fucking perfect. Like, this was really my favorite fucking movie for the longest time for the MCU, and it really couldn't even budge. Just, its fucking style, its flavor, just everything about the Guardians of the Galaxy, corner of the universe in the MCU was so special to me. Until number 1, Black Panther. Nuanced Wakandan action. And as much as I love the Guardians of the Galaxy and how much I just salivated all over it, when the Black Panther showed up in Phase 3, I knew this was the best MCU movie I've seen. This was really everything that just works well in a movie, just done right. Story, character, visual, music, and comic book nods. It has everything, and it does it right. And it's really shame. It really is a shame because they have Killmonger, who is one of the best fucking written villains, to get killed off like that. It's a shame, but it's a necessity. But it was so fantastic to fucking actualize that in a movie. And again, Black Panther was a question mark character. Not a lot of people know these properties, right? But Marvel is able to do something special with these properties that nobody really knows and make them into these fleshed out characters with real emotion, real quality writing behind them, and that's why it's gone on so long. And that's my list, and that's my little love letter, guys, because I would urge any of you who haven't watched the MCU in its totality to do so. Because I'm a huge MCU fan. I'm a comic book fan in general, and I've been watching this series for a decade now, really. 11 years. And so it's really cool to just see all this fleshed out, and yeah, you just got to take your time to appreciate it. And there may be some downs, in this world. I mean, it's obvious world building, and it takes time. World building takes time. And the MCU, Kevin Feige, the producer of this behemoth of a universe, just does this so well and just gives the audience a treat. And so I say thank you. I say thank you to Marvel. I say thank you to everybody who just fucking does the work. Even the people who are just grinding hours away doing just small animation stuff, or, even just working the buildings or on set, just cleaning shit up. It's all in part to them that we get these fucking movies that we could just watch and enjoy forever. Right? 22 fucking movies that you can enjoy forever now, kids. And here's the thing. Once, number 23, Spider-Man Far From Home comes out, definitely going to be wondering where that's going to be placed in this list here. But we'll probably do a revamped list, after Phase 4, most likely. But ultimately, guys, it's been an 11-year journey, and hopefully the Marvel Cinematic Universe will continue to thrive. Now, guys, let's move on to some sauce. Guys, all game and match reviews are on the YouTube page at the SkyLounge, so make sure you check that shit out for more detailed shit. So let's kick it off with Arsenal, the only team other than the Dodgers, whose season just started, that I had to actually fucking pay attention to during the hot-ass summer. So, Arsenal had a couple of matches in the last few weeks. Not gonna lie to you. In the Premier League, not too hot. Cinco de Mayo, week number 37. a 1-1 draw against Brighton and Hove Albion at home, which was fucking embarrassing, but it happens. And in week number 38, a fucking 3-1 win a week later on Super Championship Sunday at Burnley. You know, a 3-1 win was nice. Aubameyang getting the brace, and Nketiah getting the first goal of his senior career. And yeah, the Premier League was kind of whatever. But also within the weeks, we had 2 legs of a semifinal. One was a home win against Valencia 3-1 on May 2nd, and the second leg on May 9th at Valencia, a 4-2 win with a 7-3 total win on aggregate for Arsenal. So there's a lot to unload, right? There's a lot to unload in these past few weeks with Arsenal. I mean, we finished 5th in the Premier League. All right? But as I said earlier, Arsenal wins on aggregate 7-3. We're going to the Europa League final! Oh my God, I can't fucking believe it. We haven't been to a European Cup competition final since 2006. Oh my God, that's 13 years for all the mathematicians out there. And against who? Against the fucking dreaded, against the fucking cunts, Chelsea. That's right, fucking Chelsea. I said it. They beat Eintracht Frankfurt on fucking penalties because Kepa made some insane saves. Kudos to fucking Kepa, did the fucking work. But god damn it, it's against Chelsea, and it's a Europa League final. I know it's not the Champions League final. I don't even want to fucking talk about it, but we have to talk about it a little bit later. But it is a Europa League final. This is our gateway to the Champions League final, boys and girls. So we have to do everything in our power to fucking beat Chelsea. In other Arsenal news this week, speaking of Chelsea, because he was in Chelsea for such a long time, Petr Cech was on the pitch as a Premier League player one last time in the match against Burnley. He was just on the bench, to be honest. He wasn't on the pitch. He was on the pitch at the end of the game, but it's kind of whatever. Crazy to think that the player who repped Chelsea ended his career here with us in Arsenal. 443 appearances, 202 clean sheets. Sorry, Petr, most of that wasn't with us. 280 wins and 76 losses. It's insane. Again, best of luck to Petr Cech with whatever comes next in his journey. I really do hope he does well in whatever he does. Now, other players that are moving on. Danny Welbeck has been confirmed to be leaving this summer by Unai Emery. Unfortunate because he was playing so well before he got injured this season. Some crucial goals were scored by Danny Welbeck this season. And I'm definitely going to miss Welbs. He was actually the first Arsenal kid I ever bought. And so it's kind of a bummer to see one of the first players you ever bought, their fucking last names on your back, to see them leave. It's a bummer, but it's part of the business. Best of luck to Danny Welbeck. There's a lot of talks that he might just head over to Newcastle, which would be great. Newcastle does need a lot of solid goal scoring, and Danny is going to provide that for you. So best of luck to you, Danny Welbeck. Now, let's talk about some players that are here to stay and that have done some work. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang finished the season with 22 goals, tying the goal scoring record along with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, both from Liverpool. Golden Boot winners for all three of them. And here's the thing. Aubameyang actually scored 2 in the final game against Burnley to get to 22. This guy's just a poacher. There's a fucking reason why I bought his jersey. Do you think that when he just came over, I just said, oh, Aubameyang's the best? No. I've been watching this dude since fucking Dortmund, and my God, he has been impressive ever since that. And when the reality of him actually being in our squad was right in front of our eyes, it was just gorgeous and glorious. And this is what happens when you have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for a full season. He will score relentlessly. He will win awards. He is just that fucking good, man. And speaking of a guy who is also good, Alexandre Lacazette is named Arsenal Player of the Year. 48 appearances, 19 goals, and 14 assists across all competitions. Absolutely unreal. This guy was doing just about everything. And Lacazette just wears his heart on his sleeve, and you just feel for him every fucking time he misses, and you want him to make every fucking goal he just barely misses. But my God, Alexandre Lacazette has been absolutely phenomenal alongside Aubameyang this season. These two guys are our best players, right? Alongside Mesut Ozil, they are arguably those three guys are our best players, bar none. And it's really cool that we just get to see this. And hopefully some trophies are going to be coming along our way, because we do have new personnel that may be able to get us there. Edu is set to become the new technical director at Arsenal after he is done with this work with Brazil in the Copa America this summer. Part of the Invincibles, Edu is a familiar face that will be left with a huge task to bring Arsenal back to prominence. So the guy is a winner, and he will want it. So hopefully that can translate to Arsenal's success. So it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, boys and girls, because there's no football next week for Arsenal. Nothing yet. We still have to wait until May 29th to get to the Europa League final. But God damn it, it's still a final. We're going to get there. So come on, you Gunners! Got to keep this shit going, boys and girls. Because there's more shit happening in the world of football. Obviously, a lot of crazy shit has been going down since we last talked, officially on the channel, boys and girls. But holy fuck. Congratulations to Manchester City on winning the Premier League title on the last day of the season. Last day of the season. First back-to-back winner since 2009, Manchester United, ironically. Bittersweet, really, for Manchester City fans, as Yaya Toure announced his retirement from football. And it's crazy because you just realize that Liverpool was right there along the way. So congratulations to Liverpool for being the first loser. Yeah, literally 1 point off. And people are all over just giving the excuses right now. Oh, they were still great, unbelievable season. Dude, the reality is, if you lost, you lost. There is no fucking reward for second place. Okay? Stop sucking your own dicks, accept that you lost, and go to the fucking Champions League and win. Okay? And again, we'll talk about why. I don't even want to talk about it right now. It's just making me vomit. Not even think about it. Pep Guardiola wins Manager of the Year. Surprise, surprise! It's Pep! I would have honestly handed it to Wolverhampton Wanderers manager Nuno Espirito Santo. I apologize for the mispronunciation, but hey, it's Pep Guardiola. He's in the big fucking clubs, and he just won the league. So you have to give it to Pep, I guess. So English football is a roller coaster of dick punches and immense joy, as we have talked about for some clubs, and actually most clubs. That's all it is every season. But here's the thing. There are dick punches. And these three teams, Cardiff City, Fulham, and Huddersfield Town, will be relegated to the English Championship for the 2019-2020 season to continue the dick punch of not being in the Premier League. And from the English Championship, Norwich City has been promoted after placing first. The playoff matches are set: Leeds versus Derby County, Aston Villa versus West Brom. And so, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting how all those unfold. I think whoever comes out of these alive and gets back to the Premier League, it's still going to be rough. It's still going to be tough. So let's keep this shit going, see who comes out alive. Bolton is to go into administration, and will be looking at a 12-point deduction at the start of the League One season. Oof, that is rough. 12 points. 4 matches. Now, guys, the Champions League. Okay, we got to talk about it. I know we talked about England long enough. I'm not going to talk about Spain. I'm not going to talk about any other fucking leagues, because they are no drama, no tension, no story. It doesn't matter. Champions League, the topic that has been giving me migraines for a fucking week now. Liverpool comeback Tuesday. Down 3-0 on aggregate against Barcelona. Wins 4-0 at home in Anfield. 4-3 on aggregate. Fuck you, Barcelona, you goddamn useless fucks. Now, Tottenham comeback Wednesday. Down 1-0. 2-0 at halftime in the second leg. 3-0 on aggregate, that makes it, boys and girls. They were down 3-0 on aggregate against Ajax. And they win 3-3 on away goals. Lucas Moura with the hat trick in the dying seconds of the match. So now your finalists are Liverpool versus Tottenham on June 1st. This is the worst thing to ever happen to me in my time watching English football. And all English European Cup ties for both European competitions. Europa League Arsenal versus Chelsea. I know, I shouldn't bitch about that. But I'm fucking worried. That's why. Okay? And Champions League, Liverpool versus Tottenham. Oof. Here's the thing. I've already imagined the worst case scenario, and I have to say it. The worst case scenario is Chelsea and Tottenham both winning. Another worst case scenario, Liverpool and Tottenham both winning. Oh, actually, Liverpool can't win. Yes, they can. Liverpool can win, and Chelsea can win. That would be a worst case scenario. Just realized, like, Liverpool and Tottenham are playing each other. Why the fuck did I write that? Because sometimes my brain poops when it's tired. And it happens. But that is a worst case scenario. If Liverpool and Tottenham somehow both won the Champions League when they're facing each other in the final. Ugh. But best case scenario, Arsenal and Liverpool both win. England is red. So come on, you Gunners, and fuck it. Come on, you Redmen. You get this shit. Fuck you, Chelsea. Fuck you, Tottenham. We gotta kill the enemies. Now, guys, let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks news. The Seattle Seahawks will not be picking up Jermaine Ifedi's fifth-year option. To be honest, I don't mind it at all. Majority of times when I'm blasting the O-line, it's Ifedi's name that tends to pop up first in my head. It sucks, but it happens way too consistently, so yeah, it's going to be the last year. It happens. So, the Seattle Seahawks also picked up 12 undrafted free agents. Not gonna go through all of them. But good on John and Pete to stay on top of things after the draft. And free agents. Hooray! Ziggy Ansah, defensive end, joins the Seahawks but will miss the first month of the season due to recovering from an injury. But I'm hyped. Yes, it's a different pair of speed rushers, but we got this shit moving forward, man. I mean, that's going to be a real tasty treat for the 12s, for us to enjoy the cold October and beyond. Happy fucking birthday to me. We also signed Jamar Taylor, cornerback, a veteran who's going to definitely help out the cornerback core grow and develop for, hopefully further this upcoming season, but who the fuck knows with that squad right now. Sometimes we fuck up on the cornerback situations. We've seen this last year, but hopefully we get some good shit next year. I don't know. Now, we also signed Al Woods, defensive tackle, played with the Seattle Seahawks in 2011 for 2 months. For about 2 months. Now he's back, so hooray. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. Now, Doug Baldwin and Cam Chancellor. The Seattle Seahawks officially released Doug Baldwin and Cam Chancellor due to multiple failed physical designations, and I felt a fucking punch to my gut when I read that announcement. And the world spun for a moment, and I had to gather my thoughts, and let me say these things for Doug and Cam. Doug Baldwin, the undrafted talent who became a beloved figure to the 12s, and one of the many leaders of the Seattle Seahawks locker room, is officially calling it quits. He wrote a long thread on his Twitter, and it was beautiful to read. I can't hold a candle nor do any justice trying to replicate the feeling of the letter. I really can't. But what I can say is this. Thank you for everything, Doug. I mean, truly one of the greatest. I mean, Steve Largent, legendary wide receiver, would be proud of what Doug has been able to do in his career with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Cam Chancellor, the hard-hitting, lead by example, bulldozer on the field, wasn't available to play all of last season because of an injury he suffered the previous season, if I'm not mistaken. Injuries to the spine and neck is no light matter, and I totally understood Cam, potentially never playing again, never putting on that number 31, and it broke my fucking heart. It broke my fucking heart, and this is one of the guys that made me respect the beauty of the really the beauty of the gridiron. His hits were gorgeous to watch. Offenses would break down like an imploding building, and Cam stood there just victorious and majestic, man. And so thank you for everything, Cam. I mean, you are an absolute legend, a legend. And thanks to both players for everything they've done for the Seattle Seahawks organization. They were one of the many reasons my love for the team and the game of football has grown all these years. And I can't thank them enough from a sports fan's perspective. I really can't. And so, really, my only regret from all of this is the fact that I didn't go to watch the Seattle Seahawks, anytime sooner. And with the two of them still there. So that is something I do regret, but best of luck to whatever they do in the near future. And just know that the 12s are behind you, guys. We still love you. We always will. Now, the NFL. Not a whole lot going on because of the offseason, but you have a lot of hopeful teams and fans of those teams filled with optimism, right? A lot of hopefulness. Myself included, but yeah, pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. What isn't quiet, though, is the fucking clown fiesta known as the fucking Los Angeles Lakers. Oh boy, kids, here we go again. Uncle Song's about to lose his goddamn mind with the Lakers. The Lakers are still looking for a president of basketball operations and a head coach. The Lakers interviewed Tyronn Lue. Tyronn fucking Lue! Talk breaks down, and he isn't hired. To be honest, the dude is a mediocre coach, and I'm glad we didn't hire him. But this wouldn't be the Lakers without a head scratcher, right? Right? The Lakers hired Frank Vogel as head coach. Frank Vogel is a bare 500 coach with less than impressive records in the regular and postseason. But sure, 3 years. We got him and Lacazette for 3 fucking years. Holy fuck! The Lakers also hired Jason Kidd as an assistant head coach. Prominent role. Oh, you mean Kidd is probably going to throw mutiny and want to become head coach, and the Lakers are probably going to abide by it because no one has any goddamn backbone from fucking top to bottom? Huh? Oh my fucking God, dude. The NBA laughs at us, boys and girls. The NBA fucking laughs at us. And yet we sit here, still cheering for the Lakers, still repping the purple and gold, crying our eyes out. But hey, when we move on to some NBA news, there are some good news with the Lakers. The NBA draft lottery was today, and yes, I was writing the script when this fucking happened, so I completely fucking neglected to put this in until the last minute. But the results of the draft lottery has come in. Number 1 overall pick goes to New Orleans Pelicans, and AD still wants a trade. Wah, wah. Number 2, the Memphis Grizzlies. Number 3, the New York Knicks. That's kind of a bummer for the Knicks. I really thought they were going to get Zion, but looks like you're not going to get shit. Well, probably you'll get something good at number 3, but it's not going to be Zion. At number 4, the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, who fucking Ray? Something to be goddamn optimistic about. Oh, what a goddamn surprise. Number 5, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 6, the Phoenix Suns. The number 7 overall pick will go to the Chicago Bulls, who really got fucked over there. The Atlanta Hawks will go at number 8. The Washington Wizards at number 9. The Atlanta Hawks, via trade from the Dallas Mavericks, will pick at number 10. So a lot of crazy shit in the midst of the NBA playoffs. So we'll see what these hopeful future teams will do. Like my fucking Lakers, who are probably going to trade the goddamn pick, but it's okay because we got the NBA playoffs to talk about. And oh boy, it is a fucking doozy. The conference semifinals. Let's talk about the Western Conference semifinals. The Western Conference bitches in the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors in 6 actually happened because, of course, Houston and their stubborn one-dimensional form of basketball exploded on their faces. Maybe play some fucking defense, you assholes. Oh, look! I'm James Harden. I'm going to fly from 3. CP3's out here fucking crying his eyes out because he'll never get to an NBA Finals. Like, never. Like, holy fucking shit, D'Antoni. Like, how many fucking brain farts are you willing to have just for fun? Jesus fucking Christ. And as for the Warriors, KD goes down in Game 5, and Steph rallies the troops and kills Houston in Game 6. Mind you, the man went 0 points in the first half and scored 33 points by the end of the game. 0 points in the first half. That is some powerful, magical shit you got going on there. I hope whoever gets to the final embraces their dicks, because it's going to get dick punched. Portland Trailblazers versus Denver Nuggets. They went to Game 7, and I was proven wrong. The paper champions and the Trailblazers are going to the first Western Conference final in 19 years. And here's the thing. This was a far more interesting series than what I've seen thus far in most of these fucking playoff series. Second 4-overtime game in NBA playoff history in game number 3. Jokic logged 65 goddamn minutes. No, you're not mishearing me when I say that. 65 goddamn minutes. And here's the thing. The level of parity between the two teams was very visible, and it really came down to the final quarter. Despite the fact that the Nuggets really should have ended this game in Game 7 with leading most of the quarters. But sure, they blew a 17-point lead and got fucked over. But hey, the Trailblazers are getting ready for an anal fisting by the Oakland Brigadiers. The Golden State Warriors. Whatever, man. I don't give a fuck. Who cares, right? And then the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics versus Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not going to lie. Milwaukee won this in 5, and I did not expect that at all. I actually put a future bet for Boston in August, and I have to burn that ticket. Hooray. So Giannis shall be unleashed is what my thought process is while we're doing this shit. Because he's got his merry band of men, but he's going to be doing some crazy shit, I hope. And Boston. Oh, Boston. At the end of the day, I'm a Lakers fan, and subjectively, I'm glad you guys don't have the ammunition to push for the 18th ring. We got this, Lakers have 16, you got 17. I would like for it to be 17 for the Lakers one day. And I know it's stupid petty, but this is me we're talking about here. Kyrie didn't show up. Now he's probably leaving Boston for good. Bye. Jason Tatum, tremendously disappointing in the playoffs, but is probably going to be your only shiny beacon, perhaps, in the near future. And the other game, the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. I said Kawhi would destroy the 76ers in 5 or 6, but he destroyed them in Game 7 with 4 seconds left to go. Game tied 90-90, shoots his shot, the ball bounces 4 times, and it goes in. Buzzer beater. I watched this thing happen live after napping through 2 quarters because it was that bad beforehand. 31 points between 2 teams in the first quarter. It was fucking horrendous. And boy, I'll tell you what, after waking up with 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter and, just being really drowsy, I freaked the fuck out when I saw that buzzer beater. The claw came to life, and it was beautiful to witness. And now we move on to the conference finals. Because all these cats are doing their shit. So in the Western Conference final, you got the Portland Trailblazers versus the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors actually won Game 1 right now. Prove me wrong, Trailblazers, but Warriors in 6. Seriously, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong, Trailblazers. Please! Now we got the Eastern Conference final. The Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Will it matter, though? I'm just saying, if Golden State makes it, will any of this matter? I don't know. Maybe Giannis will be unleashed. Maybe the Super Saiyan 2 Giannis will come out. Who the fuck knows? He turned Super Saiyan 1 during the regular season. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in the postseason? He turned Super Saiyan 2. Takes it all. So, it's going to be a fucking interesting way the NBA playoffs run down and go revealing itself to us. Now, guys, the Golden Knights. A bit of news from the Golden Knights front. Kelly McCrimmon is the new general manager of the Golden Knights. Congratulations on the promotion, sir, from assistant general manager. Georgia McPhee will continue as president of hockey operation, responsible for hockey operation decisions and hockey operation staff. Keeping the band together despite the fact that, yes, there was interest with McCrimmon with, I believe, Edmonton. And Vegas stepped on it. It acted quick and was able to promote McCrimmon. So I think moving forward, it's going to be really interesting to see how the organization turns out. Pieces that are going to be moved and what we do in free agency, all that good stuff. So guys, with all this good stuff happening with the Vegas Golden Knights, we also got guys going out, playing in the IIHF World Championships. Good Lord, these fucking acronyms will kill me one day. But we got Mark Stone, Jonathan Marchessault, and Shea Theodore all representing Team Canada. But we got some other boys in the World Championships as well. Nikita Gusev for Russia and Jonas Rundberg for Denmark. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I did mispronounce it. The 2017 third-round pick is repping out Denmark, whereas our recent escapee of the KHL is playing for Russia. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those two guys will perform because, I mean, Marchessault, Stone, and Theodore have already performed for Team Canada on the power play goal. First goal for Team Canada, if I'm not mistaken, by Jonathan Marchessault. Absolutely gorgeous, even though they lost. Stoner is just one of the fucking best, right? And I believe he also got a game winner a couple days ago, 6-5 win. So our boys are killing it. And this is the thing, we have a lot of great talent. And to try to retain that talent is going to be very difficult because we do have restricted free agents coming up, and the following guys are eligible for offer sheets. Now, William Karlsson, God, you got to keep him. Nikita Gusev, definitely got to keep him if you can. Jimmy Schultz, my God, you definitely got to keep. I don't know. I'm going to say you got to keep everybody because I just love him. Tomas Nosek, obviously, yes. Malcolm Subban, if you can, yes. Jake Bischoff, I know he's been doing really solid stuff with the AHL Chicago Wolves, as is Thomas Hika and Tobias Lindbergh, if I'm not mistaken. Alex Gallant and Zach Fucali, I don't know if they have participated too much, or they still probably are participating with the Chicago Wolves. But again, if we can retain a solid list of casts for the AHL and the Vegas Golden Knights, I think we should be good. So let's see how things go down this summer. Now, boys and girls, the NHL playoffs is juicy. You know, I always like to think of it as a juicy, sexy sirloin, the Stanley Cup playoffs. But there is a couple of shits happening in the world of hockey, so we got to talk about that before we talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. The IIHF World Championship is underway. USA, USA, USA. You know how we go. We got to cheer for the USA. And also, guys, Ken Holland is hired as the Edmonton Oilers general manager, while the Oilers will also replace their head coach in Ken Hitchcock, with Hitchcock possibly staying on as an advisor. And this was all done after Steve Yzerman was appointed general manager for the Detroit Red Wings. So it's going to be really curious to see how Edmonton is going to be moving forward. Hopefully not too well because they are a Pacific Division rival, but that's just me saying that as a Vegas Golden Knights fan. Now, curious case, Henrik Lundqvist might consider a future away from the New York Rangers. Crazy to think Lundqvist in another sweater, but maybe Seattle if the time comes. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. He might like the weather and weed out there. But let's get to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Stanley Cup playoffs, round 2 in the Western Conference. Colorado Avalanche versus San Jose Sharks. San Jose uses ref bias. It's super effective. Colorado Avalanche fainted in Game 7. Yeah, Colorado kept it close, but again, got dick punched by the San Jose Brigade. Apologize, I'm barfing too much, but it just makes me sick. And you know what's worse? San Jose won Game 7, and Tottenham made that insane comeback in the Champions League on the same fucking day. So that was absolutely the worst of it. Now, the Dallas Stars versus St. Louis Blues, another Game 7 matchup. This one was fantastic, close to the bitter end, and unfortunately Dallas's offense goes blank while Ben Bishop was doing everything he could to keep the ship afloat. Alas, despite all his effort, the ship fucking sank. Play Gloria instead! Play Gloria! The Blues last out their opponents and plays Gloria on home ice after that Game 7 win. Too dope. I want the St. Louis Blues to win the Stanley Cup. I really do. Fuck the San Jose Sharks. Really. Because they're a fucking conference finalist. Makes me sick. Now, the Eastern Conference finalists talk about the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. boy, oh boy, the bunch of jerks are gonna keep it going, aren't they? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But Don Cherry is just a walking billboard ad for these guys. Anytime he says something, Carolina makes merch and profit. Boom! America! And to a lesser extent, Canada. But yeah! Profits! Yes. And here's the thing. The Islanders are the first team since the 1993 Buffalo Sabres to get swept after sweeping their previous opponent, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, a total of 8 games. A truly half-and-half performance. And I still think this is going to be a real dangerous team in the near future. Honestly, probably even the following season. So look out for the New York Islanders. They're not done yet, if I'm not mistaken, on my assessment here. Now, the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Boston Bruins. The Blue Jackets got dick punched into oblivion in Game 6 with a shutout loss. Bruins looked super dialed in and just classes above at times. And free agency will be the death of the Blue Jackets. Sergei Bobrovsky, Artemi Panarin, Matt Duchene are probably all going to be gone. And good Lord, that much of a feel-good energy from that first-round sweep of the Tampa Bay Lightning, only to be dick-punched to a questionable future. It's just nuts how hockey can be that fucking wishy-washy at times. But we are moving on to the Stanley Cup Conference Final. Western Conference Final, you got the St. Louis Blues versus San Jose Sharks. Jordan Binnington, I believe, right? So Jordan Binnington, goaltender of the St. Louis Blues, I believe will carry the St. Louis team to a majestic Stanley Cup win a la Ken Dryden or a la fucking Patrick Roy. I hope. Play Gloria! Because the St. Louis Blues can do this shit because they have tied the series 1-1. They are headed back to St. Louis tomorrow night, and hopefully they will dick punch and fucking cunt punt the goddamn San Jose Sharks. Now, the Eastern Conference Final, you got the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins. So the curious thing about the Canes is their playoff record. Since 2002, they have missed every season of the postseason, whatever fucking playoffs, except 3. Well, 4, including this year. 2002, Stanley Cup finalists. 2006, Stanley Cup champions. 2009, Stanley Cup finalists. Seriously, that is an impressive record. That's kind of fucking crazy. Now they're in the conference final, and we can only guess what the hell will happen. But Boston being Boston will probably have another winning franchise because they are up in this series 3-0 now. That's right. Boston Bruins are up in the series against the Carolina Hurricanes 3-0 as of Tuesday night. Good Lord, the sports gods are a dick. They just love Boston. I don't know what it is. Is it the chowder? Maybe. Or the chowder? Maybe. I have no idea. But, hey guys, it happens. This is the glory of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we get to see more crazy shit unfold. Now, the Dodgers, there's a couple of crazy shit going on. Right. AJ Pollock will miss at least 6 weeks for 2 separate arm issues. Speedy recovery for the lad, and hope he gets back soon. Julio Urias was arrested for domestic battery. God damn it, Julio. I mean, reportedly shoved a female to the ground on a 7-day leave from the league as they investigate. Yikes. Come on, Julio. I mean, nightmare for the kid who has been playing pretty well. I mean, as of late, I feel like he was playing well. I mean, honestly, I don't really know baseball. I don't really follow the stats. But he looked like he was doing well. And to have this kind of shit, it's just like, come on, man. You gotta figure this shit out. What are you doing? Now, like I said, the Dodgers have been pretty fantastic as of the last few weeks. And obviously, we talked about how good Cody Bellinger has been for us in April. Record-breaking shit. Cody Bellinger is on some big dick mentality right now, and let's cheer him on. Hope he keeps going. Slam those fucking balls out of the goddamn park. Now, other sports shit. When you want to hear about somebody who just hits the ball out of the park, figuratively, because if you do that in this sport, it's never a good sign. Roger Federer registered his 1,200th win during the Miami Open, joins Jimmy Connors as the only male tennis player to ever do so. The greatest of all time. Roger Federer is the greatest of all time. Yeah, he lost in Miami. I get that shit. But that's only practice, baby. The greatest of all time will be back soon, boys and girls. Now, the Kentucky Derby. Boys and girls, you know I seldom pay attention to this Kentucky Derby shit, but there was a bit of controversy with one of the horses losing first place because it stepped out of line. I mean, I don't know the technical term for it, but Maximum Security lost on a technicality. And I'm pretty sure people in Vegas were fuming, and so are most people on NBC, but meh. I mean, it may suck ass to lose like that, but damn. It's a very anticlimactic finish to Horse Race Hunger Game Fancy Dress Party, a.k.a. the Kentucky Derby. So, there's that for your odd sport thing. But hey, some good sport thing. Tiger Woods presented with the Medal of Freedom at the White House by President Trump. Good on Tiger. A great story, a great sports story on perseverance. And if I have to hear another fucking cocksucker go on about the infidelity and the drug issues, yeah, tell that to Tiger. Like, really, tell that to Tiger. And see what the fuck he did after he climbed out of that fucking downward spiral. Yeah. Guy's a fucking legend. Like, you're just swinging off his fucking dick, you fucking haters. The guy is doing everything he can to redeem himself, and he is doing it. He is just amazing. And again, I don't really follow golf, but the story behind what Tiger is doing is absolutely impressive. And shout out to the man for just making this incredible comeback in the last year and a half, 2 years. It's been really cool to just check out the stories of what people get to witness and see. And it's awesome. Good on you, Tiger. Keep it going. Now, guys, remember, all weekly writing is in the links in the description below. Check that shit out. Weekly writing number 13. Review Avengers Endgame. After the movie viewing, takes place 4 fucking times, you feel like you can write about this movie a little bit. And it's not really a review, but more of a love appreciation letter for it. And I just spent a bit of time talking about what I liked about it. And yeah. That's weekly writing number 13. And here's the thing. I cheated for weekly number writing. Weekly writing number 14 and weekly writing number 15. Jesus fucking Christ. My brain is all scattered right now. But hey, we're going to push through. We're going to make it, baby. But press for time, I did something a bit funky, but it ended up just working out right. And so what I actually did was fantasy fiction haiku. And I wanted to make a fantasy version of Kobe Bryant as a fantasy-based medieval knight. I wanted to work more on the logistics of this, but it proved to be too fucking much for me and my fucking stoned fat fuck brain. So I figured the next best thing was use that same context, but we'll use the same kind of concepts and context of what I want to do with this character and put it in a form that is kind of short, but does make you think on your feet. And it was haiku. And that 575 shit, it'll fuck you up if you don't do it proper. Just saying, there is a rhythm and beauty to haiku. And it's really well done in Japanese, too. So I definitely recommend everyone check it out. Enough of my Japanophile shit. Let's move on to some weekly film number 13, where, ironically, we're going to be talking about a product from Japan, Detective Pikachu! Pika Pika! The plot, kid's dad goes missing, his missing dad's Pikachu shows up, and it's up to the duo to find out where his father is. It's pretty simple, the plot works. I mean, it's the other side plots and conspiracy side missions that kind of doesn't shape out what it's, supposed to do. It doesn't shape out what it's supposed to be, and it's just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck is that shit? What am I even looking at? And to make a detective story out of a Pokemon world was pretty interesting, and on the basic level, it just works. And holy shit, a video game movie that isn't awful. Wow. Now let's talk about the characters. And here's the thing. Another wow is deserved here. Not the good kind. Unlikable and really disheartening protagonists, along with equally unlikable human cast members. It's a wonder why the Pokemons are so popular instead of the humans in any rendition or version of Pokemon. Even Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu can be a bit annoying at times. A bit. But his personification or his portrayal of Pikachu is carrying this fucking team, is what the fuck is happening. But when we move on to the visuals, it's a great work from the visual department for creating such a beautiful live-action versions of Pokemon. Honestly, it was pretty incredible to watch Pikachu live action for the first time. I was just like, what the fuck did they do? And it looks great. It looks real. And the 2019 moviegoer in me is still thinking, wow, I feel like I could just get that right now, and it feels so real. And that's so crazy how technology is still just advancing as time goes on in terms of the movie industry. And so really huge shout out to the animation and the visual department for doing all that shit. And just the general atmosphere created in the cities was very fun and spectacular to watch. And on top of that, you have Henry Jackman is just arguably the gem of this movie. The guy is fantastic. Detective Pikachu wouldn't be half the movie without the soundtrack. It really wouldn't. And some miscellaneous shit I want to talk about with this movie. As a Pokemon fan for 2 decades, I mean, fucking Christ, I get to say that shit. I'm going to get used to saying decades, but yeah, 2 decades as a Pokemon fan. It's really cool to watch live Pokemon and then getting that insatiable need to play the Pokemon games. Like, I was really debating if I should buy Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. Probably going to get Let's Go Eevee, but that's going to be in the near future. So if I have to give this movie a rating, I would give it a 7.0. Detective Pikachu is a visual treat that is matched alongside a fantastic soundtrack, yet does lack in the storytelling and any likable character department. Those two things are massive for me, and it just did not work. And the weekly film number 14, Wonder Woman. Between the MCU marathon, I snuck in some DCEU films, DC Extended Universe films, just because I can, motherfuckers. Now, the story follows Diana as she tries to stop the God of War Ares from continuing to wreak havoc on mankind with World War I. Very well written, and I felt very... It felt very fast-paced from the solid writing. And so this is also in part due to the characters being so well written and acted out very well. And Gal Gadot, I mean, as Wonder Woman is absolutely fantastic. I remember a long time ago, I just really didn't like her, and this was just based on her appearances in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, because I actually skipped over Wonder Woman. But watching this movie, I was just like, wow, she's great. She's a great character for what she's doing. It's awesome. And Chris Pine plays a solid male counterpart that humanizes the demigod in Diana, and other solid characters are in this lineup, and they really do serve the story well and able to do their part to propel the story and identify, Diana's journey, the hero's journey, the growing and the hurts. And it's really solid on that department there. And in the visuals, there are some really great shots and moments of just action that makes you want to cream your pants. And some of the fight sequences are just fucking nuts. Wonder Woman just trying to go through that kill zone and just get into that town is the craziest shit I've seen from DC in a long time. And it looked beautiful to boot. And the music, Rupert Gregson-Williams does an exceptional job creating an epic piece to go along with the awesome action that's on screen, just telegraphing the action, and that's super dope to watch, right? And some miscellaneous shit, and that's the thing, I never thought I would go crazy over a Wonder Woman movie, but here I am. And this was one of the best DCU movies out there. And I know, again, the sample space isn't that great, but it's awesome. And I seriously procrastinated on this movie for a year or more. And I'm finally glad I watched it. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. It took fucking forever, but I finally watched it. And really, if I had to give a point for this movie, it'd be an 8.5. Wonder Woman is an excellent addition to the DCEU that sets a high bar for the universe because of the great elements that makes it. Right? And so let's continue on to weekly film number 15, where we power on through with another DCEU film in Aquaman. Arthur Curry must seek out the ancient trident of the kingdom of Atlantis in order to stop the newly appointed warmongering king of Atlantis, Orm, also Arthur's half-brother, from destroying the surface world, aka where we fucking live, in this hot-ass desert or forest or wherever the fuck you're living right now, kids. It's a very simple hero's journey, but the elements that are written for Arthur's development to the king of Atlantis is a fun one to hop on and ride forward with. The story's just fun. Shout out to James Wan. My God, I'll talk about some miscellaneous shit and my thoughts about this movie afterwards. Jason Momoa is fucking amazing as Aquaman. If we're talking about characters, he is fucking amazing as Aquaman. I just found myself cheering him on anytime he does anything. I was fucking fist pumping when he was fighting with Ocean Master, just full decked out Aquaman armor with that trident. He looked fucking amazing. And here's the thing, Patrick Wilson is a pretty damn decent villain that can force the persona a bit, but it works. It works alongside Aquaman. Now, Amber Heard is a solid female counterpart for Aquaman, and good lord, that color of red on her hair makes her look fucking beautiful. It's insane how good she looks. And other cats like Willem Dafoe, Nicole Kidman, and Dolph Lundgren do their part. And really the only character arc that I truly didn't care about and wish they omitted altogether because it just felt like fucking background noise and nonsense bullshit was Black Manta. And I actually like this character from, DC Comics, but this character arc was completely unnecessary and fucking boring. And holy shit, it like his addition to the story is that bad for me. I just got myself out of it. Like, why is he talking? Why is he in the fucking film? It's awful. But what isn't awful is the fucking visuals. Again, right after Wonder Woman, I thought the bar was pretty fucking high, but goddamn, Aquaman just knocked it out of the park. And the thing is, Rupert Gregson-Williams, apologize, I have to pop the water bottle here real quick. But, as I was saying, Rupert Gregson-Williams does another solid job of matching what's flowing on the screen, what he did in Wonder Woman, what he does in this fantastic film, in Aquaman. Solid job. And it's epic as fuck. I honestly didn't think I would come out of that movie thinking that was one of the best DCEU movies I've seen. Like, I didn't think Aquaman would work, to be honest. And it did. It was fucking solid. It was one of the best DCEU films to date. I haven't seen Shazam yet. So, that's my whole thing. I will say, this is the best I've seen yet, but I haven't seen all of them yet. So, still, really fucking awesome. 8.5. On par with the DCEU's best, Aquaman is able to make a fun and epic adventure for newcomers and hardcores alike. Now, guys, we talked about movies. We gotta talk about music. Because we gotta be well-rounded individuals, motherfuckers. So we gotta listen to songs, too. Album of the week, number 13, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Fun titty bit. I was listening to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Awesome Mix Volume 2 album. Then I stumbled on a track that I fell in love with. And I started delving into some Wikipedia loophole, and I figured I wanted to listen to this album in its entirety. And here's the thing. Between all the awards and the crazy drama behind the scenes of making this album, I was pretty excited to hear what this shit had to offer. And, oh boy, Rumors was insane. And I know, guys, I'm taking a look at an album from the 70s, but this is about a 4-decade difference, and I feel like this is a generational rediscovery period, so that's my excuse for the ignorance. And I fell in this album so fast and so quickly, I actually drove to Barnes & Noble's right before this recording and bought the vinyl. So much better than vinyl, kids. Like, it's so much better on vinyl. My God, I'm like slurring my fucking words right now. Because you goddamn whippersnappers don't appreciate their own people with what we do. You don't like movies and music from the 70s, I'll whip you a new one. Now, my favorite track from Rumors is The Chain. Guardian's really playing with my emotions here, but this is just one of the best in the album that has nothing but the best. But to me, this is my personal favorite track. And again, Guardians has a really huge factor of why that is. But again, it's raw, it's emotional, and the instrumentals are fucking insane. And my Met track would be Gold Dust Woman. Why am I picking a Met track on the album? This is blasphemy and it's self-torture, but it has to be done, kids. It's not meh, but it's the safest pick, I feel. That's my excuse. My thought chorus on this quintessential album for any music lovers, period. Get on it, kids. Get on Fleetwood Mac right now. Album of the week, number 14, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Logic. Fun titty bit. I love how Logic just drops the N-bomb and the hip-hop world kind of loses their collective mind. I get it. Dude looks like white. Dude looks like a typical white dude, but he's actually biracial, so that's kind of the weird thing. And I don't know, man. I can't weigh in, but I just enjoy the music he's providing. That's all I'm doing. I don't have to fucking go into the politics of all this shit. I'm just I'm a consumer. I just want to consume that shit. Now, my favorite track for this album is Mama, Show Love, featuring YBN Cordae. Is it because this also features another young rapper I really enjoy in YBN Cordae? No. The song showcases both rappers' talents, and my God, these dudes are just real solid. I honestly was debating either this track or Homicide featuring Eminem, but this one slightly won it out. And yeah, I mean, the background music and the production behind it also has a lot to do with it, but absolutely. But I mean, solid from between the two, but I just felt this was better. The mid track for me was Bobby featuring my dad. I know he got his real father to do it, but it felt like a cross between Lil Dicky and any substandard rapper in the modern day rap scene, and that was kind of the low comment I can give for that. And so my thought chorus is this: another bomb album from the mad mind behind Logic. And that's really it. And you have these med tracks once in a while, but I mean, when I really enjoy Logic's work in its entirety, because you get to understand a very vulnerable man who talks about all this shit on the tracks. So it's really fun to just watch that, go. And so, album of the week number 15, Opus by Mark Anthony. When the fucking God Mark Anthony releases an album, you sit the fuck down and you listen to the goddamn album. That beautiful voice and manly vibes is Mark Anthony, ladies and gentlemen. He's gorgeous. He's beautiful. Favorite track for me, Loke Te Di. I hope I am pronouncing that right. Loke Te Di. This to me is just Mark Anthony at his best. I mean, mid-fast background music with the signature swag. It just feels good. And the mad track, Un Amore Eterno, only because I have to. I just didn't find the oomph factor in this one for myself personally. But again, that's for me personally, guys. Do not get crazy. I apologize, Lord Anthony. Please forgive my blasphemy. But my thought course on this, guys, listen to Mark Anthony. He's a god. Language shouldn't hold you back to enjoy the salsa god. Don't be peasants, okay? Just be cultural as fuck. Now, I know I skipped last week. I won't lie to you fuckers. I didn't write and didn't feel like writing. It's honestly hard to explain this kind of mental bullshit, and I don't like to call it depression. I don't like to call it these weird labels. For me, it's mental hiccups sometimes, and it happens, and I'm trying to fucking work through it. I'm trying to figure this shit out, and oftentimes it's hard. There's some days it's just hard to just have that up and get 'em attitude, but we gotta just work through it each and every day, right, guys? Talking to a hypothetical audience, but hey, I'm not gonna make excuses. I will keep contents all over, but I will have some off days. That's the honest truth. Not days off, but off days. My brain isn't 100%. Bit silly to say soul, but my soul too. It's not always 100%. So, again, guys, I apologize for missing last week, but it just happened. And I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible, but it's minimize. That's the key here, boys and girls. Next week on the Sky Lounge, we're at the halfway point of May. So far, pretty dull, eh? Pretty dull. Got to figure out a big monthly adventure too, so we'll figure all that in the coming weeks. So all right, folks, thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure you're subscribed on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at the Sky Lounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5EUNG. Now fuck off.